Hi, everyone, and welcome to a very special version of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. I am JB in studio in New York, and you can see him right there. Hall of Famer George Brett joins us in the cage. George, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, it's fun to be here.
I noticed there's a personalize your plaque over your shoulder. One might think it was Cooperstown, but in fact, you're in Kansas City. The Hall of Fame tour has rolled in, right?
Where? Yeah, it's pretty cool. They have like five big trailers that you can walk around and look at a bunch of artifacts and interact with some things. And they have a great movie, IMAX movie theater. I think it's going to be here till the 21st of August, and this is the opening today. And myself, Frank White, and Amos Otis were here representing the Royals, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's pretty outstanding. As you said, there was an IMAX movie there. There's also, do I understand that you can insert yourself into great moments of baseball history? Is it like a selfie station?
Yeah, it's a selfie station. I got one here of me and Babe and Lou Gehrig and one of the Wayner brothers. Right there. It's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Pretty cool thing. Different things. You could be the umpire in the Pine Tar game if you want. And I could be yelling at you. That's one of the displays, but it's really kind of neat. And I'm not the greatest baseball historian in the world, but I do love looking at that stuff and to see the trophy that Lou Gehrig got the day he announced his retirement from all the players on the team. They said, a guy was telling me that it was one of his most prized possessions ever, and they have that here. Babe Ruth's bat, Jackie Robinson's jersey. I mean, there's just all kinds of great stuff here, and you know, being a baseball player my whole life till I was 40 years old, it's great to kind of see this stuff. I really enjoy it.
That's remarkable, and it's important for fans to understand that are watching. This is the Hall of Fame tour. You can check it out at halloffametour.com. And that you're parked right outside Kauffman Stadium. That's where it's set up until the late August, right?
Yeah, it's right out. It's I mean, if Babe Ruth got a hold of one and he hit it out of the stadium, it would be the right field parking lot of Royal Stadium. So it's a cool setup. It really is.
Absolutely cool there. We'll get to fan questions. Folks in the Royals area, KC 2016 is the code. That's a discount, big-time discount tickets, KC 2016. Our first fan is with us here in the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. What's your name, where you're from? What is your question for Mr. Brett?
My name's there. I'm from Arlington, Virginia, and my question is, what was your favorite moment in your entire career?
That's a no-brainer. That was winning the World Series in 1985. We lost to the Yankees in the playoffs in 76, 77, 78. Lost to the Phillies in 80. Lost in the playoffs in 81 and 84. And then finally winning the World Series in 85 was obviously a great thrill. But not only the way we did it, we were down 3-1 to the Toronto Blue Jays and came back and won the last 3 games of the playoffs and found ourselves in the same boat in the World Series, down 3-1 and ended up winning the last 3 games of the World Series. So kind of reminded me of the team that the Royals had the last couple of years. They just never died. And when people said you couldn't win the big one, we won the big one many, many times. And so it was fun. And with the Royals' success last year, it brought back a lot of great memories.
This is the Edward Jones Chatting Cage. That is Hall of Famer George Brett. I'm JB. Fans, fire up your devices. Ask questions to George directly. Get some FaceTime like this fan. Hey, fan, what's your name? Where you from? What's your question for George Brett?
Hi, my name is Leo. I'm from San Antonio. And what emotions were going through your head when you just won the World Series?
Well, the biggest emotion was that we didn't have a game tomorrow, thank God, because we had so many in the last, 2 weeks. Anytime you make the playoffs, it's a little hectic and a little more pressure put on every player out there. So finally to go 2.5, 3 weeks of playing under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of pressure, it was finally good to say, okay, the season's over and we came out on top. But it's a moment I'll never forget, and I think you could ask the other 24 guys on that team. Every one of them to a T would say the same thing. What's your greatest thrill in baseball? I think they would all say winning the 1985 World Series.
Great recollection there from George Brett, Hall of Famer. Talk about that 85 World Series team from the Hall of Fame tour, which is out there at Kauffman Stadium there in Kansas City. Get a chance to check out Cooperstown in your town. Fans with us right here. What's your name? Where you from? What's your question for George?
Hi, my name's Noah, and I'm from Tinley Park, Illinois. And my question was, going into games, who was someone that you did not want to face or you knew you did historically bad against, and who was someone you did well against and you would be excited to play him?
Well, I think the guy I had the most success off was Ed Figueroa when he pitched for the Angels and the Yankees. I think one year I was 14 or 15 for 18 off him. I think the first 14 or 13 times I faced him, I got hits. Every time I'd walk up to the plate, I thought he was going to drill me, but he never did. So after 2 or 3 pitches went by, I kind of settled back in and was able to hit him pretty good. Early in my career, there were times when you would look in the newspaper and you would say, oh, my God, he's pitching today. And there were a lot of guys back then, or early in my career when I was on the on-deck circle, and I would see Sparky Lyle warming up in the 8th inning or 9th inning, and I'm saying to myself, boy, I hope they don't bring him in to face me. I learned at a very young age, but that as soon as you started thinking that way, that you were done. So regardless of who I was facing, I would say to myself, he's got me out in the past, but I'm going to get him tonight. And what I did there is I just put myself in a position to succeed rather than go ahead and accept defeat. And so I started doing that, driving to the ballpark. Okay, this guy's got me out the last 10 times I faced him. I'm going to get his ass tonight. Same thing would happen. They're bringing in a reliever to face me. I would say I hope they bring that guy in. And it just put me in a better frame of mind, and I started to become more of a successful player then. Granted, I don't think any left-hander ever wanted to face Randy Johnson. There was a guy earlier in my career, Terry Forster. Didn't have the greatest career as a major league pitcher, but he was really tough on lefties. And that's, like I said, I learned at a very early age that I wanted to face everybody, and I put myself in a position to succeed that way.
Great insights from George Brett on the mental fortitude it takes to be successful at any level in almost any endeavor. That's a thought there. Great question from Noah. We go now to the MLB Fans app. This is from Joseph MLB5. George, who do you think has the smoothest and the best swing in the game today?
I like Carlos Gonzalez, I think, for the Rockies. Mm-hmm. Is that his last name?
Cargo?
Yeah,
yep.
I like him. I liked him, Cargo. I liked him from the first time I saw him. In fact, when first time I saw him hit, I called the Royals and I said, why don't we go get this guy? And they said, he's kind of untouchable right now, George. No, I really think he's got the best swing in baseball, one of them.
That's great. And also know George can pick up the phone, and that's what happens now as part of the Royals organization. Let's go get this guy. We talked about the 85 World Series. We talked about the 85 World Series a bit. We're going to talk about it again. This is the EDJ question of the day. George, how does winning the 85 World Series compare to winning the 2015 World Series?
Well, it was a lot more fun for me to go out there and perform and actually score some runs, drive in some runs, make some plays, and help a team win a World Series. I'll tell you an honest story. I was more nervous, I think, the last couple of years with the Royals because you have no say in what goes on. I've been employed by the Royals since 1971 when I signed out of high school, and I've been fortunate that they still pay me and I have a title with them. So obviously it's been a great marriage, me and Kansas City, me and the Kansas City Royals, and was pulling for them so hard the last couple of years. But you can't do anything. I'm sitting in a suite on the 4th or 5th floor watching the games with other baseball executives here, and you get so nervous. But it was a little more nerve-wracking last couple of years, but not as satisfying when they won, because I actually did some things to help the team win the World Series.
Well said, and good insights.
If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense, actually. It's really well said. We appreciate that. The thoughts on those 2 big wins for that Kansas City Royals club. As you said, you've been there for that whole tenure. That's an amazing run. Another fan will be joining us here in the cage. There he is. What's your name, where you're from? What's your question for Mr. Brett?
Hi, my name is Corker Cheap. I'm from Cannon Falls, Minnesota. And my question for you, George, is how special was it to get your jersey retired? And how special was it to you?
It was special. I played 20 years here. I had no intentions of going anywhere else to play. Like I said earlier, the Royals and I had a great marriage, you might say. They had confidence in me. I had confidence in them, and I'm still employed by them. But I mean, it was definitely an honor. There's only been 3 of them retired here in Kansas City. Myself, Frank White, who's walking around here now, and Dick Hauser, who passed away after we won the World Series in 1985. I think he passed away in 1986. But it was a great honor. And you come here, and I come to about 50, 60, 70 games a year. And I got a good vantage point of where number 5 is located down the left field line. And every once in a while you look up there, and it puts a smile on your face.
It's nice to have a good office with a good view of something scenic. That's an important part to staying healthy and enjoying your job. I think it's we can all attest to that. This is the Edward Jones chatting cage. That's George Brett.
I definitely enjoy my job.
Another fan is with us. What's your name? Where are you from? What's your question for George?
Hi, I'm Matt from New York. My question for you, George, is how was your visit to the White House with the rest of the Kansas City Royals?
It was a good time. Got in the night before, got up in the morning and just kind of hung out a little bit around the hotel. Always a little hectic when you go to visit the president. A lot of security checks you got to go through. But to walk around that White House is something special. And I've been very fortunate in my career as a baseball player to meet, I think, every president since Gerald Ford. And Obama was the one guy I did not meet. And so I had a chance to meet him on that one day, and it was pretty special. He was in a good mood. It was during the Republican National Convention, and not a lot of people were saying a lot of nice things about him, but he came in and was very alert and and fun guy to be around.
Pretty awesome, and definitely an interesting time to be there in that White House.
I know if people were saying bad things about me, I wouldn't be that friendly.
This is George Brett. George, before we say goodbye to you, one more question from the MLB Fans app from Shell Daddy. Which third baseman in today's game reminds you of you?
Mike Moustakas, but he's on the DL, just like I was for 3 years of my career. The one guy that I really like is Arenado. I like him from the Rockies, obviously. We got a young guy here, Chesler Cuthbert, that I think is doing a fine job filling in for Moustakas. Known Chesler since he first signed with the Royals, and he's holding his own, hitting about 295 with 8 home runs and 40 RBIs, and came in after Mike hurt his knee. I would say those are my 2 favorite third basemen right now. Donaldson, third base has become a little bit, I don't know, I wouldn't say become, but, Schmitty was, everybody says, the greatest third baseman in the history of baseball. Mm-hmm. He was a home run guy, hit for 240, 250. Yep. I was the type of guy, Wade Boggs was the type of guy that would hit, 320, 330, and one year hit 390. And we'd win batting champion. 2 different types of players. And but Arenado, I think, right now, and, there might be, I don't follow. It's weird. In Kansas City, we only get 1 box score. And so it's hard to really follow the game like I used to. But Donaldson and Arenado, I think, are the 2 best third basemen in the game today.
They are outstanding players as well, as is Moose when he's on the field. And unfortunately, as you said, he's representing those DL years right now. Not as much fun. It's exciting, but a fantastic player. Well, I know
it's just a freak accident. You get a knee injury like that, and it takes you, you miss a season. Hopefully he comes back stronger than ever and can go out there, because he was really making strides to becoming the all-around third baseman player that I thought it could be for a long time.
Absolutely. Wish him nothing but the best in that rehab and coming back from that one. As you said, a freak accident. We know there's a lot going on there in Kansas City with the Hall of Fame tour. We know you're a very busy man. You got to go work for those Royals. Thank you for hanging out with fans. Did you have a good time?
Okay. Yeah, good time.
All right, great. That's George Brett. I'm JB. We'll see you on the next round of the Edward Jones Chatting Cage.